Welcome to Life Hacks Beyond Convention with Dee and Sonia. Oh, we had a win. We had a win. We had to go to Centrelink yesterday because I'm pension age and I'm applying for the pension in case I can't get this channel off the ground. And people please subscribe and watch lots of videos. But there's a 5-acre limit on what you're allowed to own, especially if you've got different lots, a number of lots on your property. But if you've lived on the property for 20 years or more, you're exempt. And you know what Centrelink's like. Everyone, like the staff, have to put up with a lot of crap, and the people going in there aren't happy generally. And we just had to provide ID, and it was quite a process. It took probably nearly an hour just to go through the processes. And she asked about that, and when she told me that, I just went, "Oh my goodness, you've just made my day." And she hadn't been given a compliment for so long, poor lady, especially at work, about Centrelink. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, so we'll probably still have to sell some land, but we're not going to be forced to immediately, which I think was the relief for me. Yeah.
So you'll be able to get a pension.
Well, it looks like it, yes. Yeah. So
Ooh, you're going to be a pensioner.
I don't want to. I'm being dragged kicking and screaming into this concept. I mean, why is that? Well, realistically, the pension isn't a lot of money, you know, and I like my lifestyle.
Well, Pauline Hanson's trying to bring in that pensioners won't have their pensions affected if they work. So let's vote One Nation.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen. But I've enjoyed working. I've enjoyed being in business. I love being in business for myself. I love working from home. I'm loving learning about YouTube and videoing and editing and all that stuff. I'm not going to say I don't sometimes go, tear my hair out, because I think I was watching a video on how to do something last night, and I was looking where the bloke told me to join it to another video, and I couldn't find it. I found it eventually, and it was in a slightly different location for me, and it was just like, and I just thought, I just can't do this. I'm not smart enough, and it just thought it was in a different place. But yeah, I guess I don't. Why have I got that value that I don't want to be reliant on the government? I don't know. Don't know where that comes from. So, yeah. But
it's not an Australian thing, is it? As such.
Well,
like the general culture is people just talk about getting to retirement age and going on the pension.
Yeah.
And there's more and more of them, I guess, but huge amounts. There's just not huge amounts of people who are retirees who are financially independent.
Yeah. I know a few just because of the coaching circles and mixing with people on the East Coast more so, that are comfortable, so they don't have to think about it. They could if they wanted to. I've got one friend who retired decades ago for 5 minutes or 6 months. He just couldn't do it. He had to go back into something. So I guess it's that entrepreneurial brain set or something. But yeah, there's an awful lot of people that just say they deserve it. And I think we talked about this in another one. The pension started at 65 because men died at 63. Before that, people didn't retire. They just worked until they died. So there is a degree of entitlement in a lot of old people. But I also blame, once again, we come back to that, not social media, but TV. When I was younger and they bought superannuation out in private companies, there was all these flash ads, invest in superannuation, retire at 55, and they've got the couple sailing off in their own yacht or on a cruise. Well, they're big for sure these days. But yeah, with all this wealth and saying they can live the rest of their lives without working. And yeah, that was really pushed, and people bought that mindset in, and then the system hasn't been able to support it. So,
yeah, I guess most people have a desire to be doing something worthwhile, don't they?
yeah,
So, if you can afford to retire and do the travelling and whatnot, would be lovely. But most people, once they get to retirement age, either their bodies don't hold up or they don't actually have enough money to do that travel anyway. So, therefore, how do you fill your time?
yeah.
What do you do? You've got to be involved in something and doing something, don't you? So, well, to a degree, it might as well be earning money.
Yes, yeah. And I think one of the biggest challenges we have in Australia is that there's the retirement age will eventually probably go to 70, I think. At the moment, for me, it's 67.
Yeah, 67 for me too.
Yeah, so maybe it's stopping at 67. But if we think about tradespeople who've worked since they were 15 or 16 of our age, they can't keep working. Most of them have broken down 5 or 10 years ago. So how do we accommodate them if they want to do something, but also they still need to be supported? They've certainly earned the right to be supported. But yeah, a lot of them do those trades because they have either, dyslexia, dyscalculia, other issues. Their brains aren't wired for an office job. You can't tell a bloke who's been a plumber for 50 years to sit down in an office and suddenly learn a computer. His brain's not wired for that. So how do we utilise their skills, support them effectively? Yeah, it's hard. So, yeah.
Yeah, we have to rethink the way that society functions, don't we, with the advent of also AI is going to impact a lot of job opportunities as well. And therefore that impacts the different personality types that there are out there as well. So skill levels, etc. And it's really interesting because when I had the cleaning business, there was somebody I worked with, and I really encouraged her to start her own cleaning business because she's a very good cleaner, had very good processes in place, excellent with customers. And when I talk to her, it's just like, nah, I just do not want to own a business. Oh, you can make more money, rather than just work. Not that I wanted to lose it, and then when I closed my business, it's like, well, if you owned your own business, you'd be better off. But it was like, no, I just don't want. I don't want that. I don't want to have to deal with. It'd be too hard to deal with all of the legalities that there are. As soon as you have a business, it's too hard to worry about the income coming out, expenses. If you've got to do GST, just all of those things. And that was a real. What's the word?
Eye-opener?
Not eye-opener, but yeah, that was just a real aha moment for me, I guess, to truly understand how we're all just different.
Yeah.
And that those things, like, as far as it goes, there was a big learning curve, because I've had small businesses all my life, had that entrepreneurial spirit, but I hadn't really employed people before.
Yes.
Because when I had my dog grooming business, I did have someone working with me, but that was more just a working with.
Subby,
you know what I mean? It wasn't truly a employee situation, whereas the cleaning business was an actual employee situation. Interview people you've never met before, make a choice for an employee, you put them on, you train them, and do all of that. And so, whereby there was a learning curve for all that, and I still wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I wasn't intimidated by trying to find the information, trying to understand it, then tracking it all. Thankfully, we never had enough staff that I had to worry about payroll tax, but we did have to worry about, shivers, what's that?
GST.
No, not GST, no, for the insurance for the staff.
Oh, work cover.
Yeah, work cover.
Yes.
So I had to navigate the whole work cover thing and all of that as well. But that didn't particularly intimidate me. It was just a learning curve.
Yeah.
So whereas when I talked to this lady, it was just like, that intimidated her. She didn't want to do it. She didn't
Yeah.
think she could do it. And I thought, whoa, yeah. So therefore, there's just so many different types of people out there in the world. So how do we accommodate for them
Yeah.
in the new world that we're seeing develop before us?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a hard one. I mean, some of those people will change later and pick up on things and make choices. I've got a friend who just had a very basic work background and eventually decided to study nursing. And I've said a couple of times, why don't you go to the next level? So she's a registered, I think it is, and then I think that's right, and then enrolled as higher. And don't want to. Just, yeah. So, but you and I are a bit hungry for the next step in our lives all the time, even if it's a little step. It's like, okay, what's next? So there is definitely an entrepreneurial theme through our brains and the way we work. And I guess initially I wouldn't have had the courage years ago. So, and that would have been about how I was programmed as a child. Because if I'd had courage and belief in myself early on, I don't know where I'd be. I'm sure I'd be pretty reasonably wealthy. But my belief has been that firstly I was stupid. That's because Dad always said it or inferred it. But also that I believe for many years that I was always the person in the background. So I would be in that classic women have to have men type thing. I'd always be pushing my partner in front. And I have done with Tony too, because we have had a seed grading business. But that's changing more so now than ever. Yeah. But yeah, so we're dealing with people's upbringing, their beliefs, whole heap of stuff that can impact. Yeah. Hit the subscribe button below if you want to follow Life Hacks Beyond Convention.